Hi guys, Miss Berg again. We are now going to be starting chapter 9. It's going to be a pretty quick chapter. I'm only going to do basically 4 lessons, but one of those lessons is going to have 2 lessons this chapter, and we're going to do the chapter review as well. So we're basically going to be done with this in like 5 days. So you will be really working on line plots today. Line plots uses a lot of fractions and adding or multiplying fractions. So I'm going to get to that first. So I'm going to flip this around. Now, the one thing that you're going to be seeing today is it's going to ask for the average. And I'm going to talk about this. In order to find the average, what you must do is you must add up all the fractions. And then also keep in mind that this is really a division sign. So you're going to add up all the fractions, and then that's going to be the number that's up here. And then underneath is you are going to count how many x's there are. All right, so we're only going to do a few of the averages today. And on your homework, I think I give you one of these. So just bear with me here. Okay, so anyway, what you are going to be doing is you are going to be having line plots, and a line plot is going to be given to you, and you're going to be then just putting X's above each one of these. So it says if the total amount, students have measured different amounts of water into the beakers for an experiment. The amount of water in each beaker is listed below. So if the total amount of water stayed the same, what would be the average amount of water in a beaker? Well, first, what they want you to do is count how many, the number of cups of each amount. And then you're going to put an X for each of those number of times. So, for example, they were talking about 1/4 here. They want you to go and count how many 1/4. The thing is, I'm going to kind of switch this up a little bit. What I want you to do is not count up because that ends up messing up a lot of kids throughout the years I have seen. They just like to count real fast, and then they mess up on their counting, and then all their numbers are wrong. So what I have my students do is I have them go and check it off every single one to make sure that they have it. So it said 1/4. So I'm going to make this one, that first 1/4. Here's another 1/4. So I'm going to make another X for that. And then this one is a half. So I'm going to come over here and put an X on my half. Then the next one is 3/4. And this is what you're going to do. You're just going to put an X over each one. I have 1/4, so I'm going to X that. And then here's another 1/4. Another 1/4. A half. A 1/4. A 3/4. So I already made that one, so it's this one. A 1/4 again, and then one more 3/4. So this is the total amount of different amounts of water in each of the beakers. So what I do first is I always, before I go on any further, I always count how many X's and make sure there's that many amounts of cups too. If not, then I made a mistake. So I'm going to count here. I should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 X's. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That is 12 X's. So therefore, I did not miss any. So now I can go ahead and answer these questions. So in order to do this, they said you're going to do the average amount. Well, the average, again, is to add up all the fractions. So in this case, if I added up all these fractions here, um, this one would be, first of all, what I could do, since I'm adding them all up, I should be really looking and making sure everything is a common denominator. In this case, there are 2's that are 4's, but this one is not. So to make my life easier, I'm going to change this to 4ths so that I can do this a little better. So if I did this in 4ths, what would I do to a 2 to get it to a 4? I would times it by 2 and this one by 2. So then therefore, each X is going to be worth 2/4, and this is 2/4 as well. Now there's a couple ways to go about doing this. So in this case, some people might just want to go ahead and add it all up. You know that each one is 1/4. So 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4. You could do that 7 different times, or you could just go and do 1/4 times 7. That would probably be the way I would do it. It's just a lot easier. And then when you just go across, it would be 7/4 for this one. Now, don't worry about the common denominator, I mean, the improper fraction yet. We will get to there in a minute. This is just this part, but remember we have to add up all the fractions. That's not it. There's more. So that's just 7/4 for this part, but then there's more over here. So remember each one is 2/4, so 2/4 times 2. If you go across, that would just be 4/4, which is also known as 1/2. So this is going to be 1/2. And then here, or if you wanted to say 4/4, you could do that as well. Some people might just be like, just do 4/4, and you can do that. So I'm going to keep it 4/4, so it's easier for me to add. And then the next thing is, each one is 3/4. But then I have how many of those? I have 3 of them. So I'm just going to times it by 3. And if I go across here, 3 times 3 is 9/4. So this one would be 9/4. So now I can add up all these fractions. Remember, when you're adding fractions, your denominator stays the same. The only thing that you add and it changes is the numerator. So 7 plus 4 is 11, plus 9 is 20. So this one would be 20/4. And then how many 4's go into 20? That would be 5 whole times. So when I added up all the fractions together, it came out to be 5 wholes. But then what they want you to do is they want you to put it over how many X's there are. So if you went and you added up each X here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There are 12 X's. So then in this case, your answer is 5/12. Now I'm going to be totally honest here. So 5 divided by 12 is also known as 5/12. So I'm going to be honest here. I don't like the way that they're showing you. They're showing you to first go ahead and make them into improper fractions and then change it to mixed numbers and then add up all the mixed numbers. To be honest, I think it's just more work that way, when you could have just have easily have just kept it improper and all have common denominators and then just go across. So it's totally up to you. My advice to you is probably just change them all in the beginning, make sure that they're all common denominators so it's much easier to add in the long run and save you some time. All right, so going on to the next thing. This is exactly what I was just talking about. If you did this, it would have been 7/4 plus 2/2, which is also known as 1/2. And then here, this one would have been 9/4, and then you're going to divide it by 12 because there are 12 x's. So now they wanted you to go ahead and add up all of this. So that would be 1/2 plus 9 plus 7 is 16/4 plus 1/2. Well, 16/4 is also known as 4 wholes plus 1, which is also 5. So you're still, no matter what, you're going to get your 5/12, and then 5 divided by 12 is also known as 5/12. It's just in fraction format. You can't make this any more like an improper fraction because it's smaller than 1/2. So when you would just make it into a fraction format, which would be 5/12. All right, so here it says Rain divides 3 2-ounce bags of rice into smaller bags. The first bag is going to be divided into bags that each weigh 1/6 of an ounce each. The second bag is divided into bags that are 1/3 ounce each. And then the third bag is divided into bags that are 1/2 ounce each. So find the number of 1/6, 1/3, and 1/2 ounce rice bags. Then graph the results in your line plot. So that's all they want you to do, is just find out how many bags that would be, and then you're going to graph that. So remember, they said that they're going to have 2-ounce bags, but there's 3 of them. So 2, 2, and 2. And then you're going to first take the 1 and divide it into 6. So if you did this, you would have to do keep, change, flip. So this would be kept 2. And then you're going to change it to multiply. And then you're going to flip this around to be 6/1. So when you do this, it comes out to be 12. So therefore, what this means is you would have 12 small baggies of 1/6. So therefore, what they want you to do here is they want you to go ahead and put X's above it, but 12 of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that is 12 little small baggies that are each 1/6 of an ounce. So the next thing was, if you took 2 and then you divided it into thirds, ounce each. So you would do again, keep, change, and flip. So that would be 2 still. You're going to change this to a multiply, and this is going to be 3. So then you would have 6/1/3. So therefore here, you're going to make 6 X's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then here, if you were going to take those 2 ounces and divide them into 1/2 ounce bags, you would do 2 divided by 1/2, which you would do keep, change, and flip. So that would be 2 you would change this to a times, and then you would flip this to 2/1, which is also known as 4. So you would only have 4 of those bags. So then I'm going to put 4 X's above it. And then we need a title here. So what you could say is bags of rice. And then you could say 1/6, 1/3, and 1/2. What are we talking about? We're talking about ounces. So you could just say ounces, that they're in ounces. So this is how you would have made that one. All right, but this is really the kind of stuff that you're going to be seeing on your homework and things like this. You're just going to use the data to complete the line plot. Then you're going to answer the questions. So here's the next one. It says Liliana needs to buy beads for a necklace. The beads are sold by mass. She sketches a design to determine what beads are needed and then writes down their sizes. The sizes are shown below. So here are all the sizes. So what we need to do first is we need to go ahead and graph all of these. So my advice to you is don't do what they're telling you to do, is to go and count them, because I see a lot of kids make mistakes doing that. So go one by one and put an X down. So the first one is going to be 2/5. So I'm going to put an X there. Then the next one is another 2/5. Then a 4/5. Then 2/5, then 1/5. So I'm going to just darken this one. Then another 1/5. Then a 3/5. Then another 4/5. Then a 1/5. Then 2/5. Then the next one is a 3/5 and another 3/5, and then a 2/5. Okay, so I just made a line plot based off of everything that was given to me. Now, again, I would check and make sure everything has the same denominator, so it's easier for you to add in the long run. And since it is, we are good to go, so we can go ahead and start adding. So what is the combined mass of the beads with a mass of just 1/5 gram? So what they want to know is what is the weight going to be of just the 1/5? So if you did this, what you're going to do is you're going to say, okay, I have, each one is 1/5, but how many of those do I have? I have 3 of them. So you could have done 1/5 plus 1/5 plus 1/5, or you can just do 1/5 times 3. That's my particular thing that I would have done. So if you go across, it would be 3/5. So therefore, the combined weight of the fifths is 3/5 of a gram with those beads. Okay, this one says, what is the combined mass of all the beads with a mass of just 2/5 grams? So they just want to know now, what are the ones with 2/5? So now we're worried about here. So this one, this answer right here was 3/5, but now we got to go and do all of these. So each one is worth 2/5. And how many do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to times it by 5. And you can look to see if you can cross cancel anything. See over here, there was really nothing to cross cancel that was going to change anything. But here, something is going to change. A 5 and a 5 can cross cancel each other out, which then leaves you with 2/1, which is 2 whole. And we're talking about grams here. So 2 grams. So this one is 2 grams. So this one is just 2 whole grams. This one was 3/5 of a gram. Okay, now we're going to go on to the next. says, what is the combined mass of all the beads on the necklace? So now what you are going to do is you're going to keep on going with the rest of these. Let's figure out what this comes out to be. Some people may say you could have kept this one at 10/5 to make it easier when you're adding up all of this. And that is personally okay as well. I could have changed this to 10/5. It is still saying 2 holes, so that it might be easier for you to add these, and that's fine. So we got to add up all of these. So far I got 3/5, 10/5. Now I got to keep figuring out what this is. So each one is 3/5. And how many are there? There are 3 of those. So if you times it by 3, that would be 9/5 for this section. And then this one is 4/5, but how many X's? There are 2. So therefore that would be 8/5. So now you have to add up all of these. So if you added up all of these, what is 3 plus 10 is 13. And then 9 plus 8 is 17. So if you added up all of that, that comes out to be 30. 30 over 5, 30/5. So when I added up all of them, it came out to be 30/5, which is also known as, how many 5s go into 30? It is 6 grams total. Now they want us just to find the average. Remember, the average is, again, the first top number is add all fractions. And then it's going to be over how many X's. So we already added up all the fractions. All the fractions came to 6 grams. So we're going to put 6 over how many X's are in here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So therefore my answer would be 6/13 of a gram is the average. All right, so next, this one, it says use the data in to complete the line plot, then answer the questions. So a breakfast chef used different amounts of milk when making pancakes. Depending on the number of pancakes ordered, the results are shown below. So here are what is shown below. So first thing that I would do is I would come over and make sure I plot all of these. So the first one is a 1/2 cup. So I'm going to put that an X above the half. Then the next one, 1/4. Then another 1/2. Then a 3/4. Then a 1/2. Then another 3/4. Then a 1/2. Then a 1/4. Then a 1/2. And then one more 1/2. So just keep in mind that I don't want it running into my other ones. So this is all of them right here. It should have gone up above, but I had that other X there. So now what you should do is you should count and make sure that these are all correct. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I should have 10 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sorry, guys. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10. So I should have 10 numbers here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I do. So therefore, that means I did not miss any. So now I can start answering the questions. The first one says, how much milk combined is used in half cup amounts? Okay. Oh, by the way, if you came over, I would have checked to see if all of these are the same denominator, and they are not. The only one that is not is a half, but I can easily change that to a fourth. What would I do to a 2 to get it to 4? I would be timesing it by 2, so then I would have to times the numerator by 2. So then each one of these x's are going to be worth 2/4, so that everything is in fourths, and then it's not so confusing when I'm trying to add. So each one will be in 2/4, but it's also known as a half. But they want to know how much combined is used in half cup amounts. So if you come over here and we see how many, each one is half. So remember, half is now 2/4. Each one is 2/4. If you went and you counted them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there's 6 of them. So I could just times it by 6 and then just go across. If you went across, it would be 12/4. Now, some people might just want to keep that as your answer for when you're doing like averages and stuff. But in this case, we could also change that. 4 goes into 12 3 whole times. So this is going to be 3 cups total. Okay, next. Number 6 says, what is the average amount of milk used for an order of pancakes here? So this is where now you got to add up all of these. So we already did that for the fourths here. That was 12/4. So we got 12/4 so far. Over here, I would have done, each one is a fourth, but I have 2 of them. So I times it by 2. So that would be 2/4 for this section. So far I got 2/4, 12/4, and now I got to figure out this part. So each one is 3/4, and then I'm going to times it by how many x's? There's 2 of them. So that would be 6/4. So now I'm supposed to add up all of these. 6/4 plus 2/4 plus 12/4. Well, we all know if we add those up, the denominator does not change. The only thing that does is the number on top. So what is 2 plus 6 is 8 plus 12 is 20. So that would be 20/4, which now that is improper. Now we got to go ahead and divide that out. How many 4s go into 20? That would be 5 whole cups. So that is when you add up all of them, it comes out to be 5 cups. Now remember, the average is add up all the fractions. So we did. That comes out to be 5 cups. And now we're going to divide it by how many x's. So how many x's are there in this particular case? We would count each x. And again, if you did that, that would be 10. So therefore, this is good enough as an average. Some people could say, oh, you could reduce that down to also a half, and that is fine. That is the other thing you could have said about that. So 5/12 and a half, they're the same thing. All right, next. This one says, how many more orders of pancakes used a half cup of milk than 1/4 cup and 3/4 cup of milk combined? So how many orders of pancakes used just a half cup? So in order to figure out how many used a half cup, you would count how many x's. That's how many orders there were. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 orders. So this one was 6 orders. And then they said, how many more orders would be the half cup than the 1/4 and 3/4 together combined. So we got to figure out what data is combined. So how many used the 1/4? That was 2. And then how many used the 3/4? That was 2. So then that comes to a total of 4 orders here, but it wants to know how many more orders of pancakes used this half cup than these combined. So in order to figure out how many more orders that is than this, you should be subtracting. So you do 6 minus 4, which is 2 more orders. And that is your answer. I'm going to skip number 8. Now I'm going to go on to the next one. All right. This one, if you did this, it says for 10 straight days, Samantha measured the amount of food that her cat Dewey ate. Recording the result, which are the following, which are shown below? Graph this line plot. So we got to graph the line plot and then show the average amount that the cat ate daily. So in order to do this, now we got to go over and kind of put these where they're supposed to be. So the first one is a half. So I'm going to come over, put one there, put an X there, then check it off, and then 3/8. I'm going to put an X over the 3/8. Then one above the 5/8. Then the half. Then 5/8. Then 1/4. Then 3/4. Then 1/4. Then 1/2. And then 5/8. All right, so now I think I got them all. So just to double check, I'm going to count and see how many X's I should end up having. So each one gets an X. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I should have 10 X's here if I did it correctly. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, so then I didn't miss any. So now I can go ahead and start figuring out the average here. So my personal opinion, again, I would make sure that they are all the same denominator. So it's just so much easier to add in the long run. So here, the biggest one is an 8. So can I get a 4 to an 8 and a 2 to an 8? And that is, yes, I can. So therefore, what I am going to do right now is I'm just going to change these automatically to 8s just to save some time for me in the long run. What would I do to a 4 to get it to 8? I should times it by 2 and this one by 2. So that would be 2 8s. So then what this means is that each one of these is going to be 2 8s. Now remember, we're supposed to add up all of these all at once. So we have to add up all of this. So let's go ahead and do that. 2 8s, but we have how many X's? That is 2 of them. So you can just say times 2 over 1, which comes out to be 4 8s. So we have 4 8s for this one. So yeah, 1/4 is also known as 2 8s when we changed it, and that came out to be 4 8s. So 3 8s, there was just one of them. So that means there's just 3 8s. 3 8s times 1 is also known as just 3 8s. So this is 3 8s. Then here, it is not an 8. So I'm going to change this so it's saying 8s. What do I do to a 2 to get it to 8? I'm going to times it by 4 and this one by 4. So 4 times 1 is 4. So each one of these is going to be 4 8s. So here. We're going to do that down here. So each one came out to be 4/8, but how many of them do we have? We have 1, 2, and 3. So 4/8 times 3 comes out to be 12/8. And then if you come over here, now looking at 5/8, since it's already an 8, so I'm good to go. But now I just got to see how many that is. There's 3 of them. So I could just times it by 3. So if I did that, that would be 15/8. And then the last one is this in 8. No, it is not. So I'm just going to quickly just change it to 8. What would I do to a 4 to get it to 8? I should times it by 2. So I'm going to times the top by 2. 3 times 2 is 6. So then each x here is going to be 6/8. But there's only one. So one that is 6/8 is just 6/8. So now what we have to do is we have to add up all these fractions. So we already know that in this case, if you did this, they would all be 8s on the bottom. So now we just got to add up all of these, and we can do this by like combining some. So 5 plus 3, 4 plus 3 is 7, plus 6 more, that is 13, plus 12, plus 15 more. So I'm going to add up all of these. So this would be 5 plus 5 is 10, carry your 1. This would be 40. So it would be 48s. And how many 8s go into 40? That is 5 whole times. So therefore that is 5 cups is when you add up all the fractions. So remember, the average means you add all the fractions. And then we're going to divide by how many x's. So when we added up all the fractions, it came out to be 5 whole cups. And now we're just going to put it over how many x's that there were total. There were, if you add up every x, there were 10. So therefore this one again is 5/10, which some people could see that as it could be reduced down to a half of a cup. So that cat averaged about half of a cup per day. All right. Next, you guys could go ahead and try this one on your own. I'm just going to get it real quick. I'm going to change this so that it makes a little bit more sense. This one is talking about, again, 4ths, 8ths, and then 2. So there are 3/4 in here. There are 7/8. There are halves. There are 5/8. And I think that's all the different types. So before I have you do this on your own, I just want you to understand what to do in order to make sure that these all make sense. I would first change these to common denominators. So it's a little bit easier for you to understand what comes first, what comes second, and so on. So the common denominator that I would have changed these all to are 8ths. So this would have been 8ths, and to change this one to 8ths. What would I do to a 4 to get it to 8? I would times it by 2. So then I would times this one by 2. So then really what 3/4 really is when it comes to 8 would be 6/8. Then 7/8 is good. It's already an 8. And then when it comes to halves, when it comes to 8s, what would you do to 2 to get it to 8? You would times it by 4. So then you would times this one by 4. 4 times 1 is 4. So when you're putting this in order, which one should be going first, 6/8, 7/8, 4/8, or 5/8. It should be the smallest when you're making a line plot. So in this case, if I was making a line plot, the first one that I would write is the half, because that's really 4/8. So if you want to say it off to the side, that's like really saying 4/8, that's fine, you can. Just for reference when you're trying to figure out the average here. Then the next one is, so 4/8 is first, the next one would be 5/8. Then the next one that you would write is 6/8, but it's really not 6/8 here, it's really 3/4. But every 3/4 is really 6/8 if you want to put that in parentheses. And then last would be 7/8. So go ahead and make a line plot based off of this, but make sure it says measure the heights of the seedlings that she is growing. So we need to have a title to this. So what we can say is heights of seedlings, and then you have to say what it's measured in. It's measured in inches. So what I would say is say heights of seedlings. And then this is in inches. So go ahead and try and find the average. Again, averages, add up all the fractions first and put that number on top over how many x's that there are. So go ahead and plot these and then try to find the average of this. So I will pause this so you can do that. So please pause so you can find the average. Okay, so you should have paused, and if you did this one is really saying like 4/8, remember? So this one was 4/8, but we have two of them, so you could have times it by 2, which is also known as 8/8. So you could have said this was 8/8 was this part. Then this one would have been 10/8, because 5/8 plus 5/8 is 10/8. So yeah, this one is 1 whole, but we could also say it's 8/8. Then here, if you change this to eighths, remember what we said, it was 6/8, and then you times it by 4. This one is truly saying 24/8. And then here would have been 7/8 plus 7/8, which is 14/8. So we would have to then add up all of these. So if you did that, 8 plus 10 is 18, then 24 and 14. I'm going to add up all of these. If you did that, 8 plus another 8 is 16. So that would be 6, carry your 1. And then if you added up all this would be 2, 3, 4, and 5. This one would be 56 inches total. So this one would be 56 over 8 would be when you added up all of those, which you can't have. So, oh, sorry, the numerator was 56, but we have to figure out what this comes out to be when you divide it. How many 8s go into 56 would be 7 inches. So therefore, this came out to be 7 inches total. That is when you add up all the fractions. So that's your first number. And then you're going to divide by how many x's. If you added up every x, there would have been 10. So therefore, your answer would have been 7/10. All right, so that is what you will be doing. Now we're going to go over to the homework, and I'm going to kind of help you out on this. Here it says use the data to complete the line plot. then answer the questions. A clerk at a health food store makes bags of trail mix. The amount of trail mix in each bag is listed below. So here is all of them. And then here's where you put them. So here we go. The first X needs to be 1/4. The next one would be another 1/4. Then a 3/4. Then a half. Then a 1/4. Then a 3/4. Then another 3/4. Then another 3/4. This is where it gets a little confusing when you try to count. Then a half. Then a 1/4. Then a half. And then one more half. So if you counted then, let's see how many X's we should have. Remember, there should be an X for each one of these. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I should have 12 X's. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that is 12 X's. So therefore I am good to go. Now it's saying here in this particular case, it says, what is the combined weight of 1/4 pound bags? Now, if you see that, hey, not all of these are in the same denominator, you can change it so that it is. You can change these all to fourths if you would like, by timesing by 2 and by 2. So then each one would be worth 2/4 now, which is still a half. It's just a different way of saying it, but in fourths. So if you went and did this, it's saying, what is the combined weight of the 1/4 pound bag? So what they did here, and they're already giving you the answer. Remember, each one is worth 1/4, but how many X's do you have? You have 4 of them. So if you ended up figuring this out, it is 4/4, which is also known as 1 whole. So you could have wrote it either one of these two ways. So it is 1 whole pound. Now I'm going to give you 2 for homework. I'm going to do 3 with you. What is the combined weight of the 3/4 pound bags? So this one, each one is worth 3/4. But then you got to count how many you have. You have 4 of them. Now, some people might already see that they can cross cancel. And if you want to cross cancel these, you can go ahead and do that. Or if you didn't want to, you would have had 12/4. Or you could have also said how many 4s go into 12 would be 3. Or you could have also cross canceled and gotten 3 as well. So each one of these, so the combined weight of the 3/4 pound bags is 3 pounds. So I want you to do 4. Now what 4 is, it says the total weight of the trail mix used in all the bags. So that means you're going to have to add all of these up in order to figure out this answer, but you first got to figure out what that one is as well. I am not going to have you do the average on that one, but you will on this one, you're going to be doing this one on your own. So you got to go ahead and put these all on the line plot, and then you're going to answer 6, 7, and 8. And then once you find the total length of all the crystals, you just put it over the X's. So in this case, average, again, just to talk about it, is you add all the fractions, and then that's going to be that top number over how many X's. So you won't have to do, Well, this one is, you're going to find the total length of the beads anyway by adding them all up. And then you can find the average here by just putting it over how many X's there are. So that's okay. You guys can do that one on your own. You will not be doing 10 though. Go to the next page. On this one, you can do number 1 and number 2. Now just be careful on number 1. It says to how many recipes call for more than 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So keep that in mind. It has to be more than 1/4. So it is 1/4 more than 1/4. That is a question that you need to answer that. So then this one says you're going to find the average of this. So again, average is add all fractions and put that number on top over how many X's? So you can find the bottom number pretty quickly on this case because it's already giving you the X's. You just have to add them up. And then you're just going to find the average over here. So that is what I want you to do on that one. I want you to do 3 and 5 and 6 as well. And then I will do number 4 with you real quick. It says Ben bought a 1/2 pound of cheese for 3 sandwiches. If he puts the same amount of cheese on each sandwich, how much cheese will each sandwich have? So what is the item that's going to be divided up? It is just the 1/2 pound of cheese. So this is going to be your dividend. And then you're going to divide it up amongst 3 sandwiches. So it's going to look like this. So then you do keep, change, and flip. So you should put it over 1. So then this one, it would be keep. Then I'm going to change it to times, and then I'm going to flip this one around to 1/3. When you do that, it comes out to be 1/6 of a pound. And that is the answer to that one. All right. And that is all for 9-1. I'll talk to you guys later.